Big welcome on the show, Michael Moore.
Thanks, Shana. I love your socks.
Oh, thank you. It's Happy Socks.
Yeah.
It's a new thing. I think it's Ashwin Williams who started this whole thing with the Happy Socks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's like, everybody will just, if you see him, just ask him to show the socks.
Happy Socks.
Yeah, he loves
That's
it.
cool.
So this interview is going to be in Afrikaans.
Rarig.
Nee, rarig.
Ek het Afrikaans geswat, maar my leertaal
It's a
sukkel so 'n
long
bietjie
time
moeilik.
ago.
Ja.
Mentioning that, I want to take you back in your life. You know, just like your first job. What was your first job? Even if it's a student job.
My first job was a waiter in a Chinese restaurant called the Ming Wu. Great job. I was earning R2.30 an hour plus tips.
Okay, when was
Let me
this?
tell you, this is way, but wow, you know, this is the 90s. Eh? No, in fact, it's the 80s, 89.
89.
Yeah. And it was great. Let me tell you, waitering, of all the jobs you can do as a student, teaches you about people, dealing with conflict, you know, and selling yourself. It was fantastic. And so that was my first job. And then I got into paint mixing and a hardware, which I loved. People would come and say, I want this color. And, you know, I could mix sort of paints together and shake this thing. And the moment for me was sort of to open the lid and kind of go, ta-da. Yeah.
Yes, your mix.
And then I sold Happy Socks. Well, not quite, but was doing kind of men's fashion at Edgar's. And that was my first big real job, man. And I'll never remember, after being there for a week, I got my paycheck and I was like, you know, I got paid, man. And I went out and I'd gotten a fine for parking my motorbike on the pavement, which amounted to my entire week's
salaris, wages.
Worked for nothing.
Luna.
Police, you know.
Oh,
so,
man.
But yeah, those are some of the jobs I used to do.
And then people know you as a TV presenter and as a medical doctor. But just to take us again back to those days, how did it happen for you to end up on TV? And you've been on TV for years.
Yes, maybe don't say like years, because that just sounds like
more than 5 years.
No, it ironically started with sunglasses. I've got a real fetish for eyewear and glasses, and was doing my houseman year. So I finished my studies and was now doing the kind of community service or houseman year back then. And there was a competition to enter a Mr. Sunny Park in Pretoria. And if you were a finalist, you got to win a pair of sunglasses. And I thought, I could be a finalist. I mean, how hard is that? And long story short, not only the sunglasses, but won that competition, which was kind of a feeder competition for the Mr. South Africa. And from the Mr. South Africa, one of the judges went to Top Billing, said, you got to see that guy. A couple of days after the competition, went for an audition for Top Billing. And I remember, much like this, in a room, lights, camera, thinking to myself, I'd much rather that someone collapse and have a heart attack, because I can deal with that, but don't give me lights, camera, action. And they gave me something to say, and I remember looking to the camera and hitting complete blank, and then ad-libbing something, and thinking, I've messed up so bad, they will never call me back. And a day later, the producer phoned and said, the camera loves you, you know, would you come work with us?
Yeah, fantastic.
And that was years ago. That was, your name? 10, 12 years now.
Sure.
So, yeah.
But the thing is, it established you, I think, because of the brand as well. Everything you do is quality. You know, that's really a brand out there. Even if you follow you on Twitter.
Thank you. You're making up for the years.
Make up for the years. But it's a trustworthiness, you know. And I think it's also because of the medical doctor side. But you're always contributing. So I'm going to go now to business. You know, the business side. It's not a lot of. I mean, I know a lot of medical doctors that do an MBA or something like that, but it's not something you taught while you're studying medics.
No, not at all.
So where did you started thinking about going into business, the business side, behind the scenes, even producing TV? That's also the business side of it, and further.
You know, it's a great question, and you're right. We had no business experience as doctors. We had no nutritional experience as doctors. I mean, there's very little that your medical degree gives you outside of, you know, understanding the human body and the proper functioning of that. So in the years that preceded, first it was the TV thing, and then TV became really cool, but there's more to life than just standing up and saying stuff on camera. So got together and formed a consulting company around people management, and, you know, and learned on the trot there. And out of that came a role to take over a nutritional company, nutritional supplement company as CEO. So did that for a while. So it was almost the MBA was gotten through hard knocks daily, you know, at the coalface. And I suppose that's where you hone whatever skill there is in being an entrepreneur. I thank you for the honor of being called an entrepreneur. I've never seen myself that way. It's just always been what's the opportunity that lies ahead of me, and do I grab it or do I not? And most of the time, I put my hand up and said, sure, let's do that. Sure, Mr. SA, why not? Sure, let me try this. Yeah, let's give this a bash. I'll jump off that building with a elastic attached to my legs. Why not? So I think I often say to my kids, it's what comes along your path, and well, if you want to bring faith into this, which I really do, I mean, that's the center of who I am. I can drive, I can be ambitious, I can focus on what I want to be, but at the end of the day, God directs our paths and God directs our steps. So it's me just responding to what comes across my path, and that's really all it's been. So I'd love to accept your compliment and go, yeah, I've been the entrepreneur and I've worked myself up from just a lowly medical student.
But it's also being grateful.
But the truth is, it's opportunity, it's circumstance, and it's grace and blessing.
There is this thing that irritates doctors a lot since Google was invented. People feel something and they Google it. And they get to the doctor and tell him, listen, I've Googled this. This is what's wrong with me. Even my doctor friends tells me that happens all the time.
Yeah.
But you invented an app, Hello Doctor.
Yeah.
What's it all about?
So I'm glad you mentioned Dr. Google. Very impressed with Dr. Google. I mean, Google knows more than I do, knows more than most doctors do.
Yeah.
Which is fine, and we can accept that. It's big data. We can't do anything about that. However, what Google doesn't know is Google doesn't know your name. So you'll Google your symptoms. I got a cough. It's a bit painful in my chest. You'll Google that, and Google says you have lung cancer, tuberculosis, bronchiectasis, and suddenly you're kind of going, what? And that's when you rush to the doctor with your big pile of paper saying,
yes,
I've got bronchiectasis, do something about it, or I need this prescription. And your doctor's going, thank you, no. But the truth is, I know you, I know your family history, you've seen me before, here's what the real issue is. And that's what Google can't do. But as Hello Doctor, we've wanted to do just that. So we understand that there aren't enough doctors to go around, not with what the community that we have in South Africa. 14% of South Africans have access to doctors, the rest don't. And that's just South Africa. Africa is even worse than that. So there are not enough doctors to go around for the people that we can serve. Now, as an individual, you do want that kind of information, and you do want to speak to someone you can trust. So we set ourselves the task of saying, okay, so let's provide quality healthcare in an affordable, in a personal, and an accessible way, with doctors that people can understand and trust. And that's how Hello Doctor was born. In terms of affordable, we can get into that, very affordable to do, accessible, using the one thing that every African has. Every African has two things, tuberculosis and a mobile phone.
Sure.
There are more mobile phones in Africa than there are people.
Yeah.
So we're using a mobile phone to give people access to their doctors, and it's personal access. So what Hello Doctor really does is to say, if you need to see a doctor, get a doctor to call you. That's all. Hit a button, a doctor will phone you back, so you don't even have to call the doctor. We'll call you and we'll address your issue. And what we found is that in 80% of cases, 80% of calls that we make to consumers, subscribers, members, 80% of those calls are resolved. In other words, 8 out of 10 people might have gone to the doctor unnecessarily, but it could have been resolved over the phone. Now, what that does for a nation that generally can't afford to get access to a clinic is amazing. Because here's an individual that has to take a day off work, has to go sit in a day clinic, and they call day clinics because you sit there all day, only to be told, come back on Thursday, or you didn't have to be here, whatever the case is. And we wanted to resolve that issue. And that's really what we've done with Hello Doctor. The big idea is a doctor on call, anytime, anywhere, for anyone.
And have you ever thought that you will end up using technology to help people?
Absolutely.
If I said 10 years ago, listen, this is what you're going to do.
Oh, no, like that, no, then not. But as technology has grown and it grows exponentially, I'm fascinated by what technology does. I mean, the whole idea of genomics now, this personalized medicine. So I'm not sure why I'm telling you this on camera, live, not live, but essentially for all of our Cake viewers to watch, but I have the obesity gene. I mean, thanks, Mom and Dad. I could blame you for my short legs or pointy nose, a big forehead.
You're really fighting it, and it works.
I have that gene. But the beauty of that gene is I know that I've got it. I know I've got a predisposition to picking up weight and losing it with difficulty. But my DNA is not my destiny, because that gene I can actually turn off through the appropriate lifestyle behavior, through being active, through regularly exercising. I can turn off that gene. Now, I would never have known that, if I hadn't done my DNA analysis. And for me, that's exciting. That's technology that's changing medicine. You know, to date, it was kind of, you can either, there's curative or preventative or palliative. You know, you can cure something or you can prevent it from happening, or personalized medicine changes all of that, and it takes us into kind of the next era. So, yeah, no, fascinating.
So that's what I wanted to say.
I'll try and stick to the subject, sorry.
No, it's good. No, it is the subject. And that's the thing. Even if I think in your life, you want to contribute the whole time. I follow on Twitter, and it's all advice stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and getting excited. So if you can give someone advice to stay positive about South Africa and especially Africa, what would you tell them?
I think we all bought into the dream that Madiba gave us, that history doesn't count. That irrespective of the history that we have, we can wipe it away and start again. Unfortunately, history does count. And I think we've realized that. You know,
it was a
decades,
big wake-up.
Absolutely. The decades of apartheid means that violence is inherent in South African mindset. You know, the migrant labor laws means that sons grew up without fathers. Look where our families are today. You know, the institution of the absence, rather, of proper political processes means we didn't really have a functioning democracy, you know, and apartheid and what it did to education means that those individuals who are now experiencing the benefits of BEE are not necessarily competent, don't have the skills, the expertise to do that. So no, we're not in a great state, and we know that. However, that's happened to African countries before, and they've come out of colonialization and made a success of that. So we can do that, but I think it's a hope, but a hope deferred. I mean, we're one generation out of apartheid. We need to do 2, possibly even 3. So I have hope for this country, absolutely. For big change, yes, but it's probably only going to be experienced by my children's children.